Greetings! Today we will learn more about the rooks, how to play using these figures. So rooks are drawing crosses like this, straight lines. Bishops are making X's like this, yeah? But rooks are drawing straight lines. They are still very powerful. They can go this way, that way, up, down, as many steps as they want, as long as the squares are open. The fields, the battlefields are available. So here, for instance, this field is occupied by a soldier, so the rook cannot actually jump over the soldier. No figures except the knights can do that, no jumping, right? So if it's your own figure, the rook can do nothing. It is kind of stopped by that figure. If it's the enemy's figure, the rook can take it, like this, hop. Or let's say there is this figure here. The rook can take it as well. Hop, that's it. And you don't have to take figures if you don't want to. You can place your rook here or here as well, okay? You don't have to take the figure if you don't feel like it. Maybe the figure is defended by some other figure. Here the knight is defending this one to left, right? So if you take this knight, this bishop by your rook, then the knight will take your rook. One rook costs 5 pounds. So this would be a very bad exchange because the bishop costs 3 pounds. The rook costs 5. So you will lose 2 extra pawns. The hierarchy is also interesting because this game is kind of historical, right? The bishops are, of course, very close to the royal family here, the king and the queen. But the rooks, although they are standing farther away, you have the bishops, like the religious organizations, yes, that are very close to the royalty. Then you have the knights, like the aristocracy, yeah, the ruling elite, the powerful and the wealthy. But then you can think of the rooks as the army that is super powerful, the army that also has some privileges. So rooks are not that close to the royal family, but they cost more than the bishops and the knights because this is like my subjective interpretation, because the army was super important and still is very important, especially in dictatorships, to defend the ruling elite. So now we'll play the game again, and this time we'll be using the rooks as well. We are learning slowly, gradually, so we're not concerned with the king and the queen yet. Although at this point, if the student is not even that gifted, if the student understands everything, I could also talk about the king and the queen. Like the queen is the unification, like the amalgamation of the bishops and the rooks. So she can move as many steps she wants to, and she can go horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. Like, so if she's here, she can come here, 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 here. She can come here, 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 here. And then it makes no difference whether she is on a brighter square or on a darker one. She can move here, and then from this new square, the same thing. This way, and this way. So she can she can play as the bishop that stands on the white square at times, and then she can play as the bishop that stands on the black square, okay, depending on her position. Both queens are doing it that way, okay? And the king is pretty limited. The king can do one step at a time, wherever he wants to, but only one step, horizontally, diagonally, vertically, one step at a time. The king has some other interesting power, but we'll discover that next time, okay? So the whites will start like this. Then I will emulate them. So the whites are conquering, they're aggressive. It doesn't mean you have to be like that, but usually this is how it's done. So they are trying to attack this figure here, and I will defend this figure. The whites will pursue their offensive strategy, because in the game, if you're defending all the time, you're kind of allowing the opponent to advance on you. If you are not a very good player, playing defensively all the time is a very bad idea for you, okay? So now I'll try to ward off the bishop, or make him do something. I wouldn't like the bishop to stand here, because it's not good for me. The bishop is threatening my knight, and if I do some other things later, the bishop is kind of controlling this line, so it's indirectly threatening my king. So I'll have it here, but the white player, let's say he is kind of experienced, he knows that if he does this, then my next move would be this, and he would lose some points because I'm advancing my my figures, and he's just retreating. That's not very good. So he will have this taken. I will have his figure taken with this bishop, this pawn. So I'll try to keep some control over the middle. This is why I'll take his what's the name? My brain is somewhere else right now. His bishop with this pawn, okay? And the white player, why the white player does this also? To have some advantage over me. So the white will take this pawn. Now the white player has two figures, whereas me, I just have one figure, okay? And the whites have some advantage right now. I'll have my queen placed here to threaten this knight, and if the knight moves, I could also take the pawn, okay? Some players might do exactly that, especially if they're not very experienced. Others could first do this, like this pawn here is defending the knight, and of course I wouldn't like this exchange because I would have lost, you know, my queen. It's the queen costs 9 pawns. In some games it's 9. In other cases, when I was a kid, they told us she costs 10 pounds, but all right, 9. So 3 pounds, 9 pounds, very bad exchange. So I wouldn't sacrifice, I wouldn't exchange my queen with someone's knight. What I will do, I will threaten the knight with my pawn, up like this, and then now the knight will have to retreat. The knight could go here as well, 1, 2, up, but this bishop is threatening the knight here, although the queen is defending it here. So it's not that bad right now, because there is, you know, it could be fair exchange. Now I wouldn't be interested in exchanging like this, because the other player has one little advantage over me, just one figure, but still. Now I'll have it this way. And this situation is check. This means one of my players is threatening the king of the opponent. It's check. And when I threaten the king in a manner when the king cannot do anything, that would be mate. Okay, we're not there yet, so it's just check. Now the king has many options. The queen can come here, which is one option. So you have to defend. When it's check, you have to shut down or create some obstacle between the figure that's threatening the king, and you can do it via either you have to move your king or you have to move other figures. You don't want to move your king at the beginning of the game because of some reasons which we'll discuss later. So suppose this player decides to do this here. Not very good for the white player because I will take the knight. We all make mistakes, okay? Now I'm just playing with some mistakes because we all make mistakes, okay? And now this bishop is threatening the queen, okay? The queen may take the bishop because she may walk diagonally as well, but that wouldn't be wise because my queen will take this other queen. And then the white players would have lost their queen, and my queen is not threatened by anyone here. So the other player won't do it. But there's a very interesting move the other player can make, which also demonstrates the power of the pawn. If they move the pawn here, now this pawn threatens both my queen and my bishop here. So I have to choose between the two, save either the one or the other one. However, this wouldn't be the best move because this, right now, this pawn is defending this knight over here, this bishop over here. If I move it away, then the bishop is defenseless. I can take the bishop with my queen and check again. So that wouldn't be the best choice either. And so the queen is under attack, so she will move here for now. Okay. Now it's my turn. Let's say I'm not that experienced and I don't see that this pawn will threaten me in one step. So I still have those figures here. And at the beginning of the game, you want to have your bishops and your knights engaged as soon as you can. Okay. So I'll have my knight over here, and the knight is defending, it's creating an additional line of defense for both. 1 to left, 1 to right. Okay. Now the other player makes this move, and he's threatening my queen and my bishop right now. Now if I take the same bishop with my queen, the white queen is here. Now she can take my queen, and that would be very bad for me. So I won't do that now. If I move here, still the queen is threatened by this bishop, so it wouldn't make sense. If I do it, come here, this pawn may take my queen away. Still a bad choice. I'll retreat here, and from here I'm defending this one as well. Now this white pawn will take my bishop because it's a very good exchange. Because one pawn is one pawn, but the bishop is 3 pawns, so good exchange. Now I may take this figure either with my queen from here or with my knight. Now it's a little early for me to engage my queen, but it can be also okay because the queen is very powerful. If you know how to use her, she can create a lot of problems for the other player. Now suppose, okay, I engage my queen, although in real life maybe I would have taken with my knight. Now every time your opponent makes a step, you have to analyze. First, before thinking about your own moves, you need to see what the specific move has changed in the game. So it's cause and effect. So there is one, or action and reaction. There is one specific action. The queen is here. So before you even think about your own strategy and stuff, you need to look at this queen here and calculate mentally, okay, what this queen can do to me from here. So she can come here, here, here. She come here, she can take this pawn. Threat. Okay. And now, is this pawn protected? I have the queen here. Oh yes, so it is protected by the queen. So I don't need to worry about this one yet. Okay. You have to analyze like this all the time. Okay. Also, this queen is kind of advancing. She's creating a lot of tension in your area here. She's all alone, so she's kind of weak right now, but still it's not pleasant to have her here. So you would want to make a retreat. This move would make a lot of sense. This pawn is defended by the queen here, or else I would have taken this pawn if the queen wasn't here. Okay, and this pawn is defended by this pawn here, okay, and also by the rook. So what I could do is check again the queen, check to the king, and you might do this, and this is good because this bishop is defending the queen, but right now the bishop is also threatening my queen. If I do not take care of the queen here, then I will pay the price. Okay, so suppose I have the queen here. Although this would have been a big mistake in real life, because now this queen is threatening my queen. But we all make mistakes. You have to. Sometimes you don't notice some things. Sometimes you forget, yeah? So, hop, I lost my queen. Okay. Now, I engage this player over here. I'm defending the king, and I'm opening this line here for my... I'm engaging the bishop, and I'm opening this area for my king to be able to save the king in the future. Suppose you remember that your knight is still here, so you engage your knight here. And the video is already quite long, so I won't finish this game right now, but let's say I threaten your queen from here, and you decide to have your queen, let's say, here. You don't want to come here because I have all my figures here. So if it's just one figure of yours versus many figures of the opponent, you should be very careful. It would be very easy for me to threaten your queen over and over, and she would have to retreat. And while you retreat, I would have advanced my figures. So you should be careful about that, okay? So now let's play with the rooks a little bit. So my rook is here. I put it here to control this whole line. Let's suppose the other player isn't very good, so the other player doesn't see the threat, and the other player engages the rooks, puts it here. Now I'll have this taken by the rook. This is what the rooks can take, so they're very powerful. They can control the whole, you know, a horizontal or vertical line. And now let's say the other player isn't good. Again, just to demonstrate here, and I could take with my rook, I could take this one, although this wouldn't be good for me because this rook here could take my rook. So I won't touch this one, this pawn, but I will take this other pawn here because it was defenseless. And this rook can take this pawn. It won't be good in real life because the king can take the pawn. Okay, if any figure is just one step away from the king, just as all the other players, can take that figure. Just for the sake, for the demonstration, let's have it this way. And then I would have taken this pawn with my rook here. See, rooks and queens especially, they can be very powerful when they penetrate the defense line of the opponent. They can cause a lot of havoc and take a lot of figures slowly. All right. Then you may decide to engage this rook over here. So as long as the rook is blocked by any figure, the rook is powerless. Okay. And now I could take this. And the queen could have taken my rook here. However, the horse is defending the rook, so that wouldn't be a good choice for the queen. So she wouldn't do that, okay? But she's under threat. If the queen doesn't move right now, I will take the queen next with my rook. So she will have it check. Okay, now it's check. And she's also threatening this player over here, although she wouldn't like to touch it because the knight is defending her. So I will have my king placed here. If I place the king here, this other rook will be totally blocked. Nowhere to go. Makes no sense. So I'll have the king here. so that I could engage the rook later, okay? And then this other player check from here with the rook. Now, I cannot move the king here or here. Here, the king is under the threat by the queen. Here, it's under the threat both by the queen and by this rook over here. So, I can have it here because still it's under the threat by the same rook. It's the same line. The only, well, there are two things I could do. This way, my bishop would block the passage, and it's kind of safe. If I make this move, then this rook, let's suppose I make this move, but now I lose my other rook, okay? So this is one of the beautiful things about chess, like those powerful figures can create a lot of drama, and they can drain the enemy pretty fast, okay? And you can create those dramatic situations when you do check to the king, but you also create some dangerous situation for another player. And you'll take the other figure when whatever the king does. That's the beauty of the chess, okay? Through a lot of checks, like with this queen right now, check from here. Again, it has to, the king has to go somewhere. I cannot go here, here, or here because the rook is controlling this line. I can go here or here. Suppose I go here to remain behind my figures. Now the queen can take this figure from over here or this one. And as the knight is more expensive, the queen will take the knight. So yeah, this is the beauty of chess. And this rook can take this one over here. So yes, that's it for now. 22 minutes. Wow, this is a lot. But it was also, very important. We learned some important things. So subscribe. I teach chess, English, French, philosophy, and a few other subjects. And I'm building a community of new intellectuals. So if you're interested in personal development, if you want to sharpen your intellect and discover the beauty of reason, rational thinking, and building success and prosperity for yourself through reason and your own individual achievement, then this channel and my efforts will be interesting for you as well. Subscribe and see you next time. Likes, commentaries, and shares are welcome. You can also donate if you'd like to. Bye.